The thesis has not changed yet. This video is going to be on Spire Global, ticker symbol SPIR. And so the reason why I'm making this video is Spire Global's earnings call is on Wednesday. I'm pretty sure. I'm too lazy to verify, but someone else verified for me. I'm pretty sure it's on Wednesday, so in like 3 days as of recording. And I am still really bullish. Yes, it is still a high conviction play just because of how small the market cap is. So I can't recommend this I can't recommend this stock if you need cash, or if you're worried that you might need cash in the near term future, right? But I do believe that this company will be a cash cow, and there's multiple reasons why. But first, let's just talk about the price action, right? So it hit a peak of 1270-ish, and then it collapses down to I think the closest was like 934, right? This hit this line right here, which is pretty cool. But this makes no sense in my opinion. I mean, do you know, okay, so it's been ever since this point here at 1260, it's just been free falling on what I can only see as good news, right? So for example, Spire Global awarded European Space Agency contract for weather data for the European Space Agency, right? They already have one for North America, and that's both NOAA. Is it NOAA? No, so they have NOAA and the Canadian one as well, right? So Canada and the United States, they are their customers, and obviously this is basically getting the ball rolling, right? You had Canada as like the guinea pig. Canada liked their service, recommends it to the United States. United States likes their service. They both recommend it to Europe, right? The European Space Agency. That's how you can kind of see that they're not just a bunch of smoke and mirrors, because Spire Global, like, they have basically a track record of people liking their product. And as I said before, the most bullish thing doesn't even have to be Spire Global at this point. The most bullish thing is if you look at like the increasing frequency of just abnormal weather events, right? You have the random flash flood in Texas, you have the wildfires in Canada, in California, all these like random heat waves and all these things. Wouldn't you think that it's kind of important to have Spire Global's data so you can forecast these things? And then with the increase in spend for AI models that need data to be trained on, right? I keep saying, if you sit on valuable data, it's the equivalent to sitting on patches of like dirt in the gold rush. Yes, computer chips are the shovel play. Yes, AI is actually trying to mine for the gold, but data is how you improve the AI. Data is where you basically find a good AI model, right? Because you need to train a good AI model requires good data. Good input means good output. Poor input means poor output. You need good data, and Spire Global is sitting on a unique set of data that is really good, right? Like, I don't know how many times I have to say that. I made like at least like 7 videos on this. I mean, come on. This proves that whatever product that Spire Global is pitching, whatever product that they're selling, it's actually useful. People actually like it because you have Canada vouching for them, you have America vouching for them, you have now Europe is on the train as well, right? And additionally, you look at the date here, right? July 29th. What happened to the stock on July 29th? Let's see, what candle was that? It's these it's these big red candles right here. It falls on good news. It falls on any news, right? And then there's this new product that Spire launches, a new space-based radio frequency intelligence capabilities for defense and security. July 24th. Let's look at July 24th. Where is July 24th? It's right here. This also red candle. Again, the the geopolitical landscape is like propping up Spire. It's basically like giving Spire like the best environment it can grow in, because now you have European countries being worried that like the United States isn't going to support their defense as much. You have Asian countries doing the same thing. Spire Global, one of their main services is defense and security. Hello, defense and security. And then you have this, right? Ever since after negotiating with Trump, the UK is increasing their defense spend by 2.5% of GDP by 2027. That's an increase of, where is this? So right now it's spending 53.9 billion with a B, to in 24-25 56.9 billion with a B. That's a 3 billion pound, euro increase in defense spending. Like, again, like, this isn't a zero-sum game at this point, because the pie is getting bigger. Even if Spire Global keeps its current market share, it still earns more money, and it's only going to get bigger, right? In 2026, 59.8 billion with the B. That is an increase in 2 years. Is that 2 years? Yeah, 2 years, from 53, where's 53.9 to 59.8. That's 5.9 billion with a B. Is that right? Yeah, billion with the B. And Spire Global is, how much is their market cap? 312.81 million. I'm just gonna complain about this number right here. They have $100 million of cash on hand, of just cash on hand earning interest in the bank account. They have $100 million, give or take, probably a little bit, right? So that means the entire company, without its cash, is worth 200 and we'll say 220 million dollars market cap. That's how the stock is evaluating the company, at 220 million dollars market cap. Do you remember how much Spire Global sold one of their segments for? Spire Global selling Spire Maritime for $241 million. So you're telling me that at this point, Spire Global, the entire company, is worth less than one of its previous segments. That is exactly what you're telling me. And Spire Global and management, they have been saying on previous earnings calls that was their slowest growing segment that they sold. The rest of Spire Global is the faster growing segments, right? So you can't even, they deserve a growth ratio, especially in a SaaS business where I don't even know. But the other news, right? Another really big important news is they hired Quinton Jones to be appointed as VP of Head of North America at Spire Global. Who is Quinton Jones? I didn't know who Quinton Jones was. Let's look at his resume. Okay, Marine Corps University, joint staff. What did they do? Let's look at Seymour. Department of Defense challenges. Directed fiscal year Department of Defense budgets processes, right? This dude lives in the Department of Defense. You don't think that having him as a VP at Spire Global might lead to some leads that will get the Department of Defense to trust this Quinton guy to maybe use some of Spire Global's products? I don't know what to say anymore, right? What else do I have here? Okay, I already talked about that. I can close that. I can close this. I already talked about that. But okay, one other thing I wanted to talk about. I don't know if it's here. Okay, here it is. People forget that before the Kepler Spire deal, right? Spire Global was actually a free cash flow positive in the third quarter of 2024, right? I don't know if losing the Spire Maritime, that might change things, but like, they were free cash flow positive at one point. Yes, they lost their biggest sector, but they also lost their slowest growing sector. So there's so many they're free cash flow positive. Now, I will say there's one thing that might make the numbers look worse, which is they changed their pricing model to be a subscription-based pricing model where it's not a full like up. You don't get all your cash as soon as you get the project, and you hit milestones. Instead, it's kind of dispersed evenly throughout the entire subscription process thing, right? So that might change the books a little bit, so that like the numbers are kind of they're not as like spike up, spike down, right? It's more evenly spaced throughout the year. So there might be some comparison problems, but I don't see how this is. They're in the perfect environment. They have the perfect product for this environment, for these environments, not even the environment, because you have the increased volatility and just geopolitical conflicts around the world. You have increased volatility of weather patterns. You have AI spend going up the like out the wazoo because people need data, right? Like there's so many tailwinds for Spire Global's business, and even if they stand still, I still believe that their data is unique enough where they will at least maintain market share. That's my opinion. Obviously not financial advice, right? The stock right now is at 960, which is absolutely ridiculous. When you have for sure, you have the people that bought in at I think $12, right? I think it was like 2023 at February of last year, I think, where someone bought, I forget the exact numbers, but then they bought a bunch of shares at $12. That you have the people that bought a bunch of shares at $14 and $14.50. So you have all those people that have skin in the game that want to see Spire Global stock go higher, right? They want to see it go higher. Now, I mean, we can look at the short interest. I don't think it changed much since I last checked. Short interest, let's look at fund shorting. Yeah, it hasn't really changed that much. Yeah, since May. You still have Citadel, Susquehanna, Wolverine, these three all shorting. But again, you have to realize this stock it's kind of not for the faint of heart, okay? If you look at how many, where's this? Well, whatever, they only had like 20 some million shares outstanding. If I can find it, they have like 20 some million shares outstanding. So it's a super low float. I can probably just ask Spire Global shares outstanding. 31 million because of that one, because they had to raise money because that one time, late last year, I think, or early this year. They sold like a quarter of their company because the freaking kept their deal. That was stupid, but they had to do it, right? So you can't fault them for that, or else they just go like bust, and then their debtors would come and take the entire company. So they had to do that, but they only have 31 million shares outstanding. You want to see how many shares outstanding SoFi has? 1.18 billion with a B. What's 1.18? 1.18 divided by 0.03? They have almost 40 times the amount of shares outstanding. It's only a 200. They're valuing the entire company at $213 million at this point, when they sold Maritime alone for $240 million. That it just doesn't make sense. I don't get it. I don't get it. But I'm looking forward to the earnings. Fingers crossed, I guess, at this point, because I don't know what the hell is going to happen. I just think that, I mean, I guess technically we're against the support level, which is kind of nice. I think that I personally think that we could at least hit this green line over here, or at least this 0.5 fib level up here. But I think it's possible we hit this 1428. Probably like over here, like 1450 level. I don't know. That's just my crappy technical analysis. I could be completely wrong, and we could just go down to whatever this level is, $5. That'd be one hell of a thing. I just think that right now it's being hella manipulated. That's my where's my tinfoil? I think it's being hella manipulated. That's it. Let's go Spire. They've only been executing really well, and I don't know what, I mean, yeah, you could say there's some stock sale from the from management, but I mean, like, they can't just live on stock, right? They need to actually convert their stock for money so that they can actually live, right? So that's kind of normal. It's kind of normal. But yeah, you have so many reasons why people want this stock to go higher. Especially, I think they just sold the 8 million shares at $8 or something. Spire Global share sell it offering. I don't know what was it. This one, 40 million private offering. Is it this one? It's probably this one. $8 a share, right? So these people wanted to go higher too. It's only at $8. That means they only earned $1.60 per share. Obviously, this hurts. This really hurts. This 5 million shares really hurts, right? That diluted the company by a fifth, by like 20%. So that did hurt. But it's worth more than $220 million at this point. This is not even a growth play. This is a value play at this point. I don't know. Buy. How is it 200 and